spring sports and how far certain teams are advancing.
We also sit down with men's lacrosse head coach Eric Fekete as the team is fighting for a conference playoff spot.
All that and more coming up on Sports Paws right now.
Sports Paws, I'm Carolyn Fales alongside Camille, Bova.
Carolyn, the year might be winding down, but spring sports are still in full swing.
That's right, Camille, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, it snowed last week.
Hopefully the spring sports can put weather concerns behind them and focus on their first seasons in the MAC. Let's get started with some lacrosse action.
The Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team took on out-of-conference and nationally ranked Fairfield this week. The game was fairly even for the most part, with Fairfield leading 10-7 at the end of the third quarter. QU was led by junior Matt Deal, who recorded his second straight three-point outing of the season. But it wasn't enough as the Stags rattled off 4 unanswered goals in the fourth period, eventually beating the Bobcats 15-10.
The team then hosted the conference-leading Siena Saints this past Saturday. A win in this game could clinch a spot in the upcoming tournament. The Saints are just one win away from clinching the MAC regular season title. Let's see how they fared. Quinnipiac Bobcats are hosting the Siena Saints, looking to clinch a MAC playoff spot. We're into the first quarter, and the Bobcats are leading Siena 4-2. Michael Siegler gets a pass behind the net, and he scores to be up 5-2. 27 seconds later, QU with the man of opportunity, and Ryan Keenan scores after a feed from Matt Deal. The Bobcats are up 6-2. Second quarter, Kyle Curry from Siena here with the ball, and he scores to get the deficit to 6-3. Just 2 minutes later, Curry again with the ball, scores, and the lead is now at 6-4 for QU. Bobcats push back. Under 4 minutes later, Ryan Keenan sets up Dylan Webster to put QU ahead 8-5. Quinnipiac goalie Gil Connors making few saves, first Ryan Mallon and then on Colin Fly. Later, Connor Prunty scores here with 11 seconds to go in the half to cut the QU lead 9-8. Jordan Barlow scores with his first of the 3 in the afternoon to put Siena ahead 10-9. Third quarter, Barlow scores again here to make it 13-9 for Siena. Fourth quarter, Ryan Mallon scores 4 minutes later with a great shot over the shoulder of Connors to make it 14-9 for Siena. QU continues to battle later in the corner. Ryan Keenan sets up Dylan Webster, who's going to score his second goal of the game to cut the deficit 15-2. Under 4 minutes to go now, Dylan Webster sets up Matt Kaisha for the goal, and QU cuts the Siena lead 16-11, but that's as close as QU would get. With the recent win over the Bobcats, the Siena Saints will take a 5-0 record and the #1 spot in the MAC standings. Behind them are the Canisius Golden Griffins and Manhattan Jaspers, tied with a 3-2 record. Quinnipiac is in fourth with a 3-3 record, while Detroit, Mercy, and Marist are tied behind Quinnipiac with a 2-3 mark. Monmouth is in last with just an 0-5 conference record.
Eric Fekete has been coaching the men's lacrosse team now for 13 seasons.
He pushed the team to new heights in the NEC and continues the push in the team's first MAC season.
Our own Giovanni caught up with Coach Fekete about the team's inaugural MAC season and how they have fared so far.
We've been streaky. We've lost 3, won 3. Our destiny was our own hand Saturday, and we were in a position to win the game, and we kind of let it slip through our fingers. So kind of mixed reviews on the overall consistency of the team, probably not as good as I would like. To be honest with you, I mean, we've been in the playoffs for 6 straight years, and we've controlled our destiny every year that we've been in that scenario. We'll have to wait till next Saturday, and I think the hard part is we have 2 huge games this week with Yale and Air Force, who are both nationally ranked programs, and truthfully, we kind of built this into our schedule because we thought at this point we'd already be in, and we want to go to the NCAA tournament, and we thought these were games that you kind of need to play moving into the postseason so you can prepare for good opponents. I didn't anticipate having to wait till Saturday to find out one way or another, and we've addressed it with the guys. We're preparing as if we're going to go. I think that's the only way you can work through this time of year. But we'll know Saturday at 9 o'clock at night, whether we're in or not. And the sad part is that, ironically, numerically, we could be tied for second place in the league and not get in. So, there's some bittersweet, I guess, feelings like that, and particularly with the Canisius game where we were down and we battled back and we had an opportunity to win it, and we lost 11-10. If we'd just taken care of that one game, we wouldn't be in this position now. So it's certainly much more difficult to have someone else in charge of your own fate rather than yourselves. I think Gil's performance through the course of his 2 years here has been excellent. He's been one of the main reasons we're in the playoffs last year. In the beginning of the year, he played great. And I can't definitely put winning or losing on one particular guy because it's a team game. His numbers certainly have fallen the last few weeks, and I think that, like anybody else, people's game are going to come up or down in terms of their on-field ability. But I think the hard part with Gil is he infuses confidence on our team if he plays well. And if he doesn't play well, he probably defuses a little bit of confidence in the team. And that's a hard position to be in when you're one of the better players on the field. It happens in every sport, and you hope that your best players play great in big games. And if they don't, it's something that your team has to overcome that you put out there versus your opponent a little bit. We've taken our licks this year, and physically we're not in the best condition overall right now, maybe where I'd like to be. We've certainly backed off of practice a little bit in order to let guys heal up a little bit. The surface here has put a little bit more of a beating on our guys than maybe we'd like at this point in the year. And I had a conversation with my starters last week, and I told them, I'm like, you're probably not going to feel 100% until middle of May when the season's over. We've been at it for 8 months. That group, that junior group, a lot of them have started. I mean, I think at this point, if my calculations are right, most of those guys are over 40 games started. Pat Corcoran, Matt Deal, Mike Siegler, Carmen French. Most of those guys all started when they were freshmen here, and that's, like I said, you can't blame anybody on the wins or losses. We win as a team, we lose as a team, and that's the way it goes. But on the same note, we're in desperate need of those guys turning the corner and becoming great leaders for us as well as great players. I think this team needs some leadership, and I think that those guys have a lot of experience. I mean, as juniors, they have probably more game experience than half the seniors that are playing in this country right now. But it's evolving that experience into evolving the way you play the game. And I think we've struggled at that a little bit, at developing through the course of having a lot of experiences, how to make decisions when pressure's on.
When we come back, the hockey season might be over, but we caught up with freshman Sam Annis to talk about his historic rookie season. And we'll head over to the Diamond to catch you up on all the action as the baseball team is starting to heat up. Don't go anywhere, Sports Paws will be right back.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Sam Annis is coming off one of the greatest rookie seasons in Quinnipiac history, leading the team with 43 points and winning the 2014 National Rookie of the Year award.
Annis is also the second freshman in Quinnipiac Division I to have 20 goals and assists.
Our own Jordan Siegler sat down with Annis earlier in the week to talk about his season and future with the Bobcats.
Hello everyone, I'm here with Quinnipiac Bobcats forward Sam Manis. How you doing, Sam?
Good, how are you?
Good. All right, so now let's just first talk about this past year. You started out on the third line, and then Peter Quenneville got hurt, and you ended up being moved up to the first line. How did you adjust to a different role?
I tried to play my game that I usually play, and I was lucky to play with the twins and Connor and Kellen, and obviously they're such great players, and I think the three of us right away, we just clicked, and we had a great year together, and I think within the first 3 or 4 games combined, we had 20-some points, so it was just right away, and we had a lot of fun playing together. I think that was the best part.
So you mentioned the Jones brothers. How did they kind of help your success this past season?
Well, obviously they're such great competitors, and obviously they're great players, but the three of us, were very competitive with each other, and we were really accountable, and if I made a bad play, I knew I would get it from them, and they would be upset, or if they didn't make a play, then they would give it to each other, or we were all really accountable, and I think that's what really drove us as a line.
Do you think you would have had the same success without them?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I guess we'll see next year, but I had a lot of fun playing with them, and we'll see how next year goes.
So, going back to moving up to the first line, were you nervous at all? Did you feel any added pressure moving up to playing with them?
No, not at all. I mean, they didn't come up to me and say, "Oh, you need to deliver," or blah blah blah. I think it was just time for a change, and the lines necessarily weren't clicking that well, and I think they were getting a little frustrated, and we were getting a little frustrated. I mean, we were playing well as a team, but I guess that line just clicked, and we just went off from there.
Now, coming in here and starting here as a freshman, did you expect to have? I mean, 40 points. That's a lot for a freshman. Did you expect to have that kind of a year?
No. I mean, I just wanted to be like an impact player. I didn't think I'd be leading the team in points and goals. That's really a surprise for me, but I'm glad I did, and I had a lot of fun this year.
And so now, what about your style of play do you think led to your success this season?
Well, I'm pretty quick around the net, and usually if there's a puck in tight, I'm quick to elevate it, and I think that's what helps me a lot. Is a lot of times goalies will go down, and I'm able to elevate it up on top of the net.
So now, you just were named you just won the Tim Taylor Award, best rookie in the nation. How does that feel?
It's an incredible honor. I mean, you look at the list and you see some of the guys who have won it. It's pretty cool, and obviously I have to thank the coaches for putting me in a position all year to be able to achieve a award like that, and playing with such great players. And my parents, they've done everything for me my whole life, and it's good to see hard work pays off.
So now, probably heard about it, the sophomore slump. What do you think? Is that going to happen to you next year?
I don't plan on it. I've heard people say it before, but I'm just going to work as hard as I can, and I hope to have some good results.
Is there anything specific that you plan to do over the off season to make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, for me, I think getting a lot stronger. Obviously, I'm not the biggest guy, but I find ways to use my body to my advantage, but I think getting stronger is only going to help me. So I think that's my main focus in the off season. And
do you feel like there's going to be a bit of an added pressure next year coming off of this season?
I'm sure there will be, but I mean, I'm more focused on how our team will do next year. I mean, we didn't accomplish our goal of winning a national championship, and that's the goal again for next year, and that's what I'm more focused on.
The Quinnipiac baseball team hosted the St. Peter's Peacocks for a 3-game series over the weekend. The Peacocks are winners of 5 of their last 7 games and are coming off a 3-game sweep against Ryder. The Bobcats are coming into the game 3rd place in the MAC and on a 6-game winning streak. Which team would come out on top? Quinnipiac Bobcats hosting the St. Peter's Peacocks. And we're going to be at the top of the first inning. We have runners on first and second for St. Peter's. Chris Huggs singles up the middle. John Christopherson scores, and Rob Moore advances to second. 1-0 to St. Peter's. Top of the third inning, runners on first and third for St. Peter's. Quinnipiac pitcher Thomas Jenkins screws up a pickoff attempt. John Christopherson scores. 2-0 for St. Peter's. Bottom of the third inning, runners on first and second for Quinnipiac. Lou Iannotti hits a double off the right field fence. Mike Palladino scores, and Matthew Batten advances to third. 2-1 for St. Peter's. On to the next batter. Vincent Galletti singles to left field. Matthew Batten scores, and Lou Iannotti advances to third. We're tied 2-2. Next batter, Rob Pescatelli singles up the middle. Lou Iannotti scores, and Vincent Galletti advances to second. The game is 3-2, Quinnipiac. Bottom of the 5th inning, Runners on first and second for Quinnipiac, 2 outs. Scott Donahue hits it up the middle. John Christopherson commits an error on the throw. Rob Pescatelli scores and Rob Nelson advances to third. The game is 4-2 Quinnipiac. Top of the 9th inning, 5-2 for Quinnipiac. Gary Binkowitz strikes out Rob Moore for the save, and Quinnipiac will win the game 5-2.
In the Bobcats' second matchup against the Peacocks, Justin Thomas took the mound for QU and let up 2 runs in the first inning. But Quinnipiac would answer with 5 runs of their own to finish off the first. The Bobcats didn't look back after that. Mike Blumenthal would drive in his 3rd run of the game, and Quinnipiac would walk away with a 9-2 win. The Bobcats then faced the Peacocks for the last game of the 3-game series, looking to extend their winning streak to 9 games. QU was in control again as they kept St. Peter's to 3 runs. Quinnipiac ran away with homers by Vincent Galletti and Rob Pescatelli, along with 5 other runs. The 9-3 win extends the Bobcats' overall record to 15-16 and their MAC record to 10-3.
QU freshman Brandon Shalakis was named the MAC Baseball Rookie of the Week.
In just his 2nd career start, he threw a 9-inning, 1-hit shutout to finish the 3-game sweep against MAC foe Iona last weekend.
Shalakis owns a 2-0 record with a 2.94 ERA in 34 innings pitched. And we'd like to welcome our baseball analyst, Rob Ciambra.
And this week we're going to do a report card style analyst segment. We'll give Rob a player and he will grade them.
Are you ready? Okay, so first we're going to start with Vincent Galletti.
Vin is having a great year, leads the team in so many categories. His walk-up music, honestly, should be Hell's Bells by AC/DC. He is one of the most feared hitters in the MAC right now. He leads the team in average, 348. He's got 4 home runs, 26 RBIs. He's just having a heck of a year. Great season for him.
All right, how about Gary Binkowitz?
A walk-on pitcher, a gem that Coach Gooley found last year. He is one heck of a pitcher. Just broke his own single seasons record with his 7th save this past weekend. One heck of a year, and unfortunately he wasn't able to pitch all 4 years here. He's going to be a tough loss next year.
Moving on, what about Matthew Batten?
He is having a great year himself. I give him a B. He's 2nd on the team in hits for a freshman. For a freshman, that's really good. I still think he's got a little more in him, and I'm excited to see what he has left for this team and for the rest of the season.
All right, and finally, Matthew Osija.
I give him a B as well. He's having an all right season. He had a little bit of a rough outing this past weekend, 2 runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. So he's doing all right, though. I think he still has a lot more in him as well. He needs to improve a little bit, maybe work with some of the pitching coach as well as Coach Gooley.
Well, those are some decent scores. Thanks so much, Rob. And I know you enjoyed our report card segment, but we're going to take a short break here on Sports Paws. When we come back, softball faces Stony Brook in an attempt to end a 5-game losing streak. Plus, the women's tennis team is on the verge of claiming their first place in their conference. Sports Paws will be right back.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
Kat Zabielski.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just
Funny
over
stuff,
$4, giant cheesesteak
like your
subs,
jokes.
and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney here at Ray and Mike's.
No, you got the last 2. So
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
The Quinnipiac softball team has faced out-of-conference foe Stony Brook for the past 9 seasons. The Seawolves hold the advantage, having won 8 out of 13 of the games. But this time, Quinnipiac is riding a 5-game losing skid. Will the Bobcats be able to come out on top? Let's head to the Diamond to find out. All right, we have softball hosting the Stony Brook Seawolves in the first game of a doubleheader. Here's the team gathering around pitcher Sydney Roby to start off the game. In the first inning, Shayla Joza singles up the middle off Sydney Roby. She'll score. Jessica Combs moves to second, or comes from second to third. QU prevents another runner from scoring, sending the ball to home. Two batters later, Kat Zabielski grounds out to third, but Olivia Munton scores. Stony Brook is now up 2-0. Stony Brook adds to their lead in the second inning. Olivia Munton is hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Jessica Combs will score from third. Seawolves are now up 3-0, but Quinnipiac will answer back. Abby Johnson walks. Jenny Edmonds will score from third. Bobcats now trail 3-1. But the Seawolves are too much for the Bobcats. Alexandra Piscota gets on because of a fielder's choice. Bria Green slides into home and scores. Stony Brook is up 4-1. In the bottom of the third, Danny Edmonds singles to the left. Sydney Roby scores. Bobcats now trail 4-2. In the seventh, Katie Alfieri pops out to second on this pitch to end the game. The Bobcats lose 4-2, their 6th straight loss.
Softball was unable to clinch a win in the Stony Brook doubleheader, but the team picked up their stride and was able to win one of their games against Monmouth by a score of 6-5. Softball will also be hosting its first annual Strikeout Cancer game on April 30th. The Bobcats will be wearing pink in honor of the American Cancer Society. They'll be welcoming the Hartford Hawks this weekend for a doubleheader.
Quinnipiac women's lacrosse look to improve their MAC record with games against Fairfield and Siena. Against the Stags, Kira Aquat recorded her 7th hat trick of the season and the 19th of her career. But it wasn't enough as Fairfield overtook Quinnipiac 18-7. QU then took on Siena. The Saints came out tough, finishing the half up 10-2. The Bobcats fought back in the second, with Aquat tallying her 4th straight hat trick, but again it wasn't enough as Siena came away with a 15-10 win. QU's MAC record drops to 2-5 on the season and 2-12 overall.
The men's tennis team finished their regular season with 2 losses to Stony Brook and Monmouth, both with a score of 6-1. The men finished 7-11 overall and a 3-4 mark in conference play. Over on the women's side, they clinched at least a share of the 2014 MAC regular season title with a 7-0 win over Monmouth. The Bobcats improved to 7-0 in conference play and could win the league with a few different outcomes.
The Quinnipiac women's golf team attended the Roar EE Invitational and finished in last place out of 5 teams. QU's junior captain Jen Whaley finished the final round tied for 10th place out of 23 golfers. Her 159 for the 36-hole tournament was her second best. Quinnipiac will wait until Friday to play in the MAC Championship, hosted in Lake Buena Vista, Florida.
Women's track and field recently took a drive down to Princeton University to compete in the Larry Ellis Invitational. Leading the way for Quinnipiac was the senior sister duo of Brianna and Amanda Faust. Brianna came just seconds away from posting a new personal best in the 500-meter, while sister Amanda was just 8 spots behind her. Sophomore Tracy Campbell also shined in the 3rd fastest 1500-meter in program history and the fastest since 2007. Quinnipiac now prepares for the Penn Relays, April 24th to 26th.
Well, that's going to finish off tonight's show, Camille.
Next week, we'll be joining with QBSN's Bobcat Breakdown to wrap up the year that was Quinnipiac Sports.
For more information on Quinnipiac athletics, follow us at Q30 Sports and check out our website, q30television.com.
For Carolyn, Fales, and our entire crew, I'm Camille Bova. Have a good night, everyone.